Welcome back to RFL this Memorial Day as we honor America's fallen. Now, sometimes you learn more about someone in death rather than in life. The family of Sergeant James Harvey II of Clark, New Jersey, they learned from his fellow soldiers and friends, and even from his own words, what he meant to so many people. But what his family knew all along was that Jimmy, he lived to help others. Samantha Liebman, she tells us more.
Jim was a typical son. He gave us our hardships, gave us our smiles, cared about others. He did anything he could for others. He always made himself second.
And that's what Sergeant James Harvey II was doing when he was killed in Ghazni Province, Afghanistan on June 20th, 2011.
Jimmy was the only casualty that day. He was in a safe area. He was safe, and two of his men had gone around a different way for supporting fire, and they got trapped. And he left his safe area and went in to save them. Saved them. They both lived as a result.
While his father says the family is proud Jimmy died a hero, it is still very difficult to accept.
We always knew there was a chance. Every morning you wake up and you wonder, is this the day? So one day it was us.
That day came in June of 2011. The news was especially hard on Susan Harvey, Sergeant Harvey's mother, so much so that she could not bring herself to participate in our interview.
Second time she had been notified. She was present during Vietnam when one of her girlfriends were notified that her brother was killed. So this was the second time. So as soon as she heard the doorbell and opened the door and saw him, she knew what it was and just collapsed.
Harvey posthumously earned a Purple Heart, a Bronze Star, and a promotion to sergeant. Many of the honors for their son hang in the Harveys' home in Toms River. One important item also hangs in the local American Legion post.
Jimmy had written me asking for a flag that he could fly on his fob in Afghanistan. That's the flag that I was given by my hometown when I volunteered during Vietnam. He knew the history behind it. I sent it to him, telling him, this is your flag now. That flag flew on his base in Afghanistan after he was killed. He and his belongings came back. The flag did not until his unit returned because they continued to fly it. And then they had us come down to Fort Knox, and they gave us this dedication.
Growing up in Clark, the Harveys never knew their son wanted to serve, but in the fall of 2009, he enlisted and quit his job at PSC&G.
He used to steal my Army uniforms and go out and play in them. And my dog tags were always missing. I was always looking for my dog tags when I was going away. And I'd find them all on the strange. I could never put two and two together.
And according to the senior Harvey, they didn't know a lot about him.
He used to get in trouble for not doing his homework. And we found out that that was because he was charging people to do their homework for them.
But there was more they didn't know until after his death.
We learned so much about him that we didn't know. As far as civilian friends and what he had done for people, military, it was unreal. It was like we never knew him as he was growing up.
They received a book of photos and memories from his fellow soldiers, even the ones he helped save, but it was his last letter home that was most revealing and touching. Clark American Legion Commander William Duffy read us the eulogy included in the letter, which his father read at the funeral.
Do not be saddened by my death. Don't be angry with the Army. I did this by choice and loved every day. My job fit me and I excelled at it. I did not die alone. I was with my brothers in arms that I trusted and they trusted me.
Duffy says he did not know the Harveys and was upset upon learning of Sergeant Harvey's death from a local journalist.
I always make it my effort to see the guidance counselors at the Clark High School when the kids graduate, who's going in the service. We put the kids into the American Legion. We pay their dues the whole time they're on active duty.
The Harveys moved to Toms River before Jimmy entered the Army, but that didn't matter. According to Duffy, he was going to make sure he got the same honor as every fallen hero from Clark, so he approached the mayor.
I said, we now have another fallen hero. This kid's a Clark kid. I want to be able to tell the parents at the funeral home that the next street in Clark will be Harvey Court. Duff, definitely, you got it. And Mayor, next Memorial Day, we're going to present a sign to the family, and the next new street will be Harvey Court.
And that happened this Memorial Day. The sign went up for the newest street in the town, and the family was honored in Clark's annual Memorial Day parade. While the tribute was appreciated by the family, they say something else was just as important.
When he left the airport that day, we told him, make us proud. And he did.
It has been exactly 1 year this week that the Harveys last saw their son alive, and that's when he was on a 2-week break home from his first tour of duty in Afghanistan. Less than a month later, on June 20th, 2011, he was killed in action. Now, we learn about a young man from Monmouth County, Dennis Zelinsky. He passed away in 2005. He was one of 4 American soldiers killed by a roadside bomb in Iraq. His parents, Dennis and Marion Zelinsky, say that his death has not defined his life. Rather, his death signified his devotion. Natalie Patterson has his story.
Dennis Zelinsky was the kind of son every father dreams of.
Just a strong, committed person.
And the type of man every mother strives to raise.
He could pick out things about individuals and make them feel proud of themselves.
Dennis and Marion Zelinsky say their son Dennis was born with a strong will. He wasn't a perfect student or a natural athlete, but his dedication set him apart from other kids his age. In his senior year of high school, Dennis was named captain of the swim team at Christian Brothers Academy, the all-boys school in Monmouth County.
He was not the best swimmer in the pool, but the coaches all said that they would have filled a whole team of Dennis's because of his work ethic.
It was that same work ethic that got him accepted to the United States Military Academy at West Point in 2000. By that time, Dennis's purpose was already crystal clear.
With the military, you're dedicating your life to people. Dennis wanted to protect.
Midway through his training came the attack that would fortify Dennis's path. Marion says it was soon after 9/11 that she recalls asking her son to drop out of the academy. She knew war was inevitable.
And he said, and especially now when my country will need me most, I will never turn my back.
And he never did. 2 years later, Dennis graduated from West Point as a second lieutenant. He then went on to complete both airborne and ranger school.
And he was ready to do his duty for his country.
Just before Dennis was deployed in 2005, his parents made the trip to Fort Campbell to say their goodbyes. Dennis says he tried to stay positive for his son, who was eager to join the forces in Iraq.
We knew people get injured and killed. I mean, it's war. I kept that out of my mind.
Marion, however, was overcome with an uneasy feeling. A feeling, she says, that's been hard to live with.
I knew when I said so long to him that I was never going to see him again.
On September 17th, Dennis was deployed to Beji, Iraq, where he was stationed with the 101st Airborne Division. It wasn't long, though, before he was promoted to first lieutenant, earning the trust of his men, the locals, even the mayor of the town, known as the Sheik.
The Sheik took a liking to Dennis.
That's why on November 19th, Dennis was assigned to accompany a group of soldiers to meet with the Sheik. Marion says her son was on his way into town when a bomb went off near his Humvee. It was just 2 months after Dennis had been deployed. He was 23 years old.
My wife was downstairs and she saw military people at the door. She came and got me, and nobody had to say anything.
Nearly 7 years later, Dennis says the loss of his son is still hard to bear.
Feels like yesterday. It certainly doesn't get any easier for me.
Marion and Dennis surround themselves with memories, though they need no reminder of their son's extraordinary life. In the dining room, his medals, dog tags, and shells from the 21-gun salute from his burial at West Point. Dennis enjoyed pointing out the photos, though, that show his son's bright smile.
New Year's Eve date.
For Marion, each photo is a piece of her son. She can't help but sigh as she holds each of them as only a mother could.
My son, my hero.
For the family, Dennis's spirit and purpose is still very much alive. Marion says this Memorial Day she hopes people will take the time to remember those who, like her son, gave their lives in the name of freedom.
Freedom is not free. It is bought and paid for by our military.
And Dennis's legacy lives on. In 2006, the Zelinsky family established a memorial fund which provides support to families of fallen and injured soldiers of war. And it also provides scholarships to students who embody the leadership qualities and spirit of Lieutenant Z. We'll be right back.